Alrighty, guys. I just want to do a quick midday recap before we break for lunch here today. Um, so we had a few ideas pre-market, things to be watching out for. One of the first patterns that actually showed up, the one that I was really hunting for today, was AKTX. And yeah, it was a little bit of a sort of a risky short into this push. But the thing is, when I have a plan that's sort of mapped out in pre-market and I already know, where I want to get in, where I want to risk, it makes it a lot easier to already have the idea of the number of shares you want to use because you know exactly how much you're willing to risk dollar wise, and you kind of have an idea of what the reward is going to be on the other end of the trade. So with AKTX, this is the thing that I think is really important to remember, is that yesterday the stock had this huge run up and my mouth was watering because I had a really, really good feeling that this was going to fade back. However, it didn't actually really set up in a way that made sense for me to trade it in a way that I'd be able to, minimize my risk while maximize my reward in the trades. So there's a few patterns that I look for particularly that you guys all know on the short side and the long side. And I pretty much have three go-tos, and one of those is not chasing it down into weakness. Tends to not work most of the time. So this is one of those times where unfortunately yesterday it felt painful to watch this fade all day. But because I was just patient, I knew exactly what I wanted on this stock. I was able to come in today and actually take advantage of the exact same trade, and it worked even faster and better than yesterday. So really good example of just once again, being patient, waiting for the right entries, really paying off. That being said, I came pretty damn close to stopping out. I would have stopped out at 51 on that entry, and I managed to get a 29 average on the way up. So kind of just to be fair though, I didn't trade a whole lot of shares over 30. It just wasn't very liquid there. So it kind of just probably spooked a few early shorts out. But had I got stopped out at 51, I would have waited for then a real setup to short it again. But overall, this was pretty much a home run. But the thing is, guys, is as you know, I don't short size into a push like that. I'm not going to, risk thousands of dollars on an initial entry like that. But I'll always take a nice starting position with comfortable risk within. Typically I like to risk between 8 and 12 cents per share on a trade, stocks below $10, but with one like this, it's this volatile, 20 to 25 cents is fine as long as the reward on the other end is going to be, a dollar, $1.50, four times the risk or more, right? So here's the thing that was, I'm going to talk about the good and the bad. The good is the entry was excellent. The average price was spot on. It instantly rejected. And I was a little spooked with that push to 50, so I did take a little out, just over 10 to mitigate our risk, and then immediately just moved the stop basically up to 41. So that way I'm kind of protected. I got a small cover at 10.03. And then if it comes back and stops out at 41, it's going to be pretty much a flat trade at that point, maybe a small loss. So really mitigated the risk. But you can see it just completely failed. So it had a huge dip, and I was able to get another cover, 977 for 52 cents a share, and then I was really patient with the remaining. I got some out at 933, and the final cover for me was 897 or 6, I believe. So overall, great start to the day, but I want to talk about, as you guys know, I don't just really talk about the good. I want to talk about what kind of, and again, this isn't really something that I could have avoided, but I really, really wanted to add some size onto this trade. I wanted to kind of, from the covers I made on the way down to mitigate the risk, I wanted to add all those covers back and maybe a bit more into this push towards 70. Because of the volatility and the size of this move, instead of putting an order to add more short under 70, I decided to put it just over 70 in case I had a quick pop like that and then come back down, which a lot of the time I get great fills on those types of moves. So I had my order at 72, and you can see it came 2 cents away from filling on that candle right there. And then once it came down to 60, I moved the order down to 68, and it never came back up and hit me. So unfortunately I missed the ads, which would have really, 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 you know, propelled this trade from a home run into a true just grand slam. Would have been the biggest trade of the week by far. So, guys, just while I'm speaking, I want you to keep an eye on ETRM. Watch for consolidation over 210. Just keep in mind they do have warrants exercisable at 230. So if it gets up there, they're probably going to be looking to sell. But there's a nice gap on the daily chart. And again, you know, I think that this had a lot of time to trap shorts down here. Again, I'm not really sure what the thought process is for someone shorting. You know, there just doesn't seem to be like a lot of meat to me. It just doesn't seem like a great risk-reward scenario. So I wasn't really ever interested in a short on it. But if it can hold and consolidate, let it go for 15, 20, 25. It can really hold. I mean, this is exactly the pattern that I mapped out earlier for you guys. If it pops up and hits 15, puts a higher low at 10 and starts to consolidate, then you can start safely looking for that curl to get in if you want. Looking for that continuation. And you can set your risk safely now at 207. Maybe even higher, but basically 207 break. I would wait because we're in a lunchtime trading here myself. That's just my opinion. But just keep an eye on that 210 area. See if it starts to consolidate. If we come in at, you know, 130 from lunch and it's still holding here, and we've had the moving averages catching up and it looks good, that's a trade I would take. It's not a trade I jump in right now, though. I have rules in place for my trading that have gone a long way for me. One of those rules is no longs after 11:30 a.m. The other one is no trading between 12 and 1 p.m. unless there's a flow rotation play or something extremely, extremely volume rich throughout the entire afternoon that makes sense to be watching, okay? So today, really nice trade on AKTX to start. Again, just the reason I wanted to do this recap was just to remind you guys, it's okay to miss a trade, especially in this market. There's going to be another one right around the corner almost every time. Things are really heating up, guys. We're having, you know, today was the first day where I was unsure where to look. There was so much going on. I was just kind of watching everything and really looking for something to nail. AKTX was the one for me. I think that was the best trade, the best opportunity. But there was also a pretty good ARDM I didn't like as much. IZEA was the other one that I was interested in. I mentioned, you guys saw me come really close to taking that short at 350 on the second try. So it touched 350, it broke out. It put in that big wick, kind of, you know, showing us that there was some weakness there. And it came down, and as it tested 50 once and twice, I came really close to trying to short it right there. And I kind of just thought twice about it. It's pretty illiquid. At the same time, though, this is the kind of setup where, again, the better you get it going long, the better you get it going short, because you can tell that, at least for me, this is not a candle that's going to go right through high a day. I mean, I could see this maybe filling me short at 58 or 48, then maybe it holds a higher low, then starts up like that. I can see that happening. But I just don't see this as a pattern that would just go like that, right? So, I mean, worst case, I probably should have taken that one, because worst case scenario, we get filled at 48, it pops up, we exit on dip for a small loss and have a chance at a big gain on the other side of it. But I just figured that in the interest of protecting our morning profits and staying safe, I would leave that trade alone. So then moving on to HMNY really quick, guys. As you can see, we had a major squeeze, and we're coming right back to test that $7 area. That was like pretty much the breakout area. So there's going to be a lot of interest around the $7 spot on HMNY. I'll be watching this over after lunch to see if it's still kind of hanging out in this area. It may give us a trade or two. The one thing that we knew about HMNY going into today, and that I mentioned it yesterday in the watch list and again today, this morning, is that I didn't expect much to be going on in this range. The reason there was no volume yesterday is because everyone is waiting for the next move, and this is really just like the pause area, right? So I had a very strong feeling that if either it broke 550 or broke 625, then we would see volume come in. People would have a reason, you know, shorts would have a reason to cover, new longs would have a reason to buy. Same on the other side, you know, if it breaks 550, look at this daily chart. I mean, you know, longs have a reason to sell. Probably would have went to $5 pretty quickly. But yeah, the only thing I can think is that probably a lot of swing shorts on this one from yesterday, looking for that 550 break, and they were forced to cover today. in addition to people coming in, new longs coming in. So HMNY we will keep an eye on going forward to today. I want to keep an eye on ERTM 210 area. AKTX I'm interested in 940 for a reshort if it can somehow bounce. ITUS 240 is continuing to become and remain a huge resistance area, and that's definitely an interesting spot for shorts to be kind of risking off at this point. Now, that being said, if it holds a higher low and curls and breaks 40, I think we could see a squeeze on that one, so we'll keep an eye on it. ARDM is going to be no trade for me, and MRNS. Keep an eye on this one for consolidation over 475 to 80 area over lunch, and we'll see if it can set up for a break of highs later today. So a lot of potential setups for 1 p.m. plus today. So let's keep our eyes open, guys. I'm not going to go too far from the computer today. I do need to take a quick break, though. I think now is probably a pretty good time to do it. So I hope you guys had a good morning. Looking at a couple of trades that could show up for us this afternoon. So I'll be back on the stream shortly, guys. In the meantime, I'll be hanging out and chat with you in case anything comes up. Hope you had a good morning, and I hope you enjoyed the recap, guys. Hopefully we can finish the day and the week strong. In fact, with that being said, this is a very, very unusual. Usually there's a loss or two every week. I actually don't think there's been a loss all week, so it's been a pretty crazy week in terms. Wait, there was one there. That was last week. So yeah, we've actually had a really good week so far, even though there wasn't as many home run trades. MBRV was a big trade for sure. And then there was a lot of singles and doubles, so although there was no losses, a lot of these trades weren't huge, but CAPR was a nice one. And of course, today's trade, which I haven't journaled yet on AKTX, is a very nice one. So let's see if we can finish the week strong, guys. Just be patient over lunch, wait for a good setup to form, and we'll talk to you soon.